Update. My father demands an apology after 10 years of no contact. By user educational, tax 189. For people who didn't see the first message, here's a link to it. Headups, UW, Reddit.com, read entitled Parents 80, FIFA 9090, UG. So I've read all your comments and I'm so grateful. I didn't know there would be so many internet strangers behind me. So I met up with my sister and told her everything about how my father and his now wife beat me, about how I protected her and the mental and physical damage that the behavior of my father and his wife caused me. She mainly cried a lot. There's a lot of pressure from his family to get back in touch with me as I'm getting better at my job, and I'm starting to have a prominent role in it. Something that his family would like to show off is that I'm successful and well-known in my profession. She just didn't know what to do, and that's why she reacted very aggressively and painfully. We talked this out and hugged it out. She also told that my father's wife often goes through her phone. That's how she found my phone number. He helps her unlock the phone. My sister has changed her unlock code several times, but he keeps copying them from her. We have agreed to buy a second phone where she can keep all her important things and save all her important contacts. So she only has to show the old phone to my father to play games on it. She will keep the new one a secret. She really doesn't want to go to my father anymore, but there is a lot of pressure on her from the family to go. She's the last child of my father who still has contact with him. We have also discussed this with our mother, and we are going to make a plan with our lawyer so that they cannot bother her if she stops going. I have ignored my father and his family as much as possible. I have threatened that if they don't leave me alone, I will send the police on them for stalking. So far, it's been quiet, and I haven't heard from anyone else. I hope it stays calm, and that my sister can now also relax. Thank you all for your support and answers. Mila wants her help back. By user Nils Nugget. Hello, everyone. Posting from a throwaway account also apologizes for my grammar.
If this goes her or a different sub, let me know if needed to be posted somewhere else.
We are in a weird moment on our lives with my wife's family, especially with my Mill and her sister. Let's call her Renata, 22. Some details have been changed, though. Also, her dad is not in their lives. This might be a long one, and I don't know if I made it make sense, so sorry for that, but we both are in look for a different perspective of the situation. Some details have been changed. A little bit of background. I, 30, am been with my wife, 28, for around 5 years, and we have a 3-year-old kid who we love like nothing in this world. When we started dating, she was living with her mom, who always controlled her entire life. She couldn't have a personal email. She'd have to receive and open all her mail and a lot more buzz. She always reminded her how stupid she is and that she needs to get a man with money because she is incompetent and can't make money. My wife tried to go to college, but Neil didn't want to help her pay for it because she would fail. Meanwhile, her sister got her college paid without ever working and graduated and makes bank. My wife lived with this treatment thinking this is normal, and she didn't saw anything wrong with it until she met me. No one in her family ever said anything or advocated for my wife. No one in that family had the balls to do it, just to avoid problems because they're a family and families stick together. Fucking hate that mentality. So I came to the picture and started to get mad when we couldn't go places because of her mom treated my wife like a middle school girl. She can't go out without doing the dishes, taking the dogs out, cook and cleaning after it. You know, the Cinderella vibes while she watches with Renata. She was always condescending to her, and the narcissistic, selfish attitude just drained my wife's self-esteem. It is always first, her second, her dog's third. Her boyfriend, she didn't go to my wife's BDs because she had plans with him, and she also didn't went to the wedding. Go figure, fourth.
Renata, and lastly, my wife. Only when she had our kid, who she never wanted to babysit because she's tired and doesn't want to work when she's out of work. She called my kid fucking work. Plus, she always puts shit on her head, like call my boyfriend grandpa.
Which pissed us off, and we cut that right away. They were dating for a couple of months at that time.
So I got fed up and talked to my wife that we need to distance ourselves. I just wanted to go not, but it's her fam, and she didn't want that, which I understand.
Fast forward to a few days, they had an argument on the phone where Mill was, again, treating her like she doesn't know what she's talking and being disrespectful and condescending to my wife. So she hangs up on her mid-sentence. I am glad because I've been telling her to no, let her treat her like that since respect is earned and not a given just because is her mom. This made my Miles super mad, so she called her and me like 20 times. Then her sister did the same and texting saying to apologize to her mom. She's a mama's girl and a copy of her mother. Neil text a lot of B's with the last one being I am done.
To what my wife says, she always says that.
I told her then, we are done too. For real this time, she needs some kind of consequences, because she always says stuff to enforce her narrative and feel like she had the control. Because of this discussion, literally yesterday, Emil texted my wife. They haven't spoken since the argument, not even to check on her grandchild, asking her for the money my wife owes her. Well, I just find out that years ago, my wife couldn't pay her cell phone bill and Mill helped her by paying it. When my wife got some money, she tried to pay her back, but Mill said no for some reason. But she kept paying the phone. It was on Neil's name, so my wife told her to just cancel the line. She didn't. Then like a year later, she asked her out of the blue to pay her back all the help. And she's been paying that help since, without me knowing, because she didn't want me to get more stress out and screw my anxiety with the situation. I took her out of Mill account a while ago, but she's been paying her mom for like 2 years now, and Mill said she owed her something around the $900. I am livid. This is why she kept the line up and didn't want the money. How in the hell a mother asks for the money she used for helping her own daughter? How are you so entitled and selfish to write down every penny she used on my wife, so she have ammo to go after her when she needs money? And so I grabbed the money that her boyfriend gives us for the wedding linnet, which I never used because I don't like to get money from others, and for some reason always had a bad feeling about this money. I'm going to give it to her and tell her to call the debt paid and to fuck off with her buys, and we will start distancing from her even more, including not seeing her grandchild. No biggie for her, I assume, until she fucking grows up. I know we're not obligated to give any money since everything was on her name and linked to her bank account, but I don't want to give her any more reasons to stay around with her boss. Am I overreacting? Does anything I said make sense? Any suggestions would be appreciated. Again, sorry for the long post and bad narrative grammar. Thanks for reading this long mess. Entitled Mom told me disabled people shouldn't go in public, as we don't want to be stared at. By user Playful Mountain Fox. First time posting and on mobile. Sorry for any mistakes, lol. Needed context. IIF23. I'm a service dog handler to a red tri-Aussie. She's a very pretty dog and gains us a lot of attention. So I'm very used to gently educating about why you shouldn't interrupt or distract service dogs. Typically just a hey, please don't distract service dogs, or even telling my dog, but more so just saying out loud, ignore it, does the trick. I have a heart condition. POTS for those that know it. That causes me to faint, and she alerts prior to fainting so that I don't fall and get injured, or at worst die. This day, while walking A around, I hear cooing and cawing from somewhere nearby, loud enough to be from a good distance, and clearly an adult voice. Out of curiosity, I look around and see a woman, not much older than myself, with a small child no older than 3 in a shopping cart, pointing out my dog. I smiled at them, seeing the kid and not minding the lady at that point. Usually parents point us out to teach their kids about service dogs or to call my dog pretty. I did need to go down the aisle they were in, but figured it wouldn't be an issue. As soon as I walked closer, the mom started raising her voice while still baby talking her kid, saying things like, ooh, look at the puppy coming closer. And isn't that puppy so cute? Nothing bad, but she was incredibly loud for being right next to me at this point, and her kid wasn't looking. This displeased the mom, so she started to move her cart to force her kid to look at my dog, and I spoke up because she was now blocking where I was trying to go. Please don't block my path. I'm just trying to shop like anyone else. This lady was not happy with being told this. Without skipping a beat, her face had turned a deep red and she was screaming at the top of her lungs at me in the store. I'm sorry, I just wanted my kid to admire the pretty puppy, and I'll admit this frazzled me. I wasn't expecting her to turn so angry so quickly, especially since I thought I had been relatively nice in explaining why I didn't want her to move her cart just for her kid to see my dog. I responded along the lines of, you're more than allowed to look, just please don't block us from shopping. And it's not good to teach kids to point and yell at service dogs. It can distract them from their jobs. If she misses an alert, I could get really hurt. And I get yet another mind-blowing response. The reason I'm making this post, this lady screamed back, now with people watching because we were quite close to the front of the store. We have eyes. My daughter and I are allowed to look at your dog. If you disabled people are so bothered by being stared at, don't come out in public. I was so shocked at first, I didn't even know how to respond. I eventually just stared at her for a second, silently, before saying, wow, I'm so glad people like you are raising kids. Because remember, this happened in front of her small child. I honestly wanted to avoid any more confrontation. So I turned to rush to check out while the mom was busy screaming something else that I ignored. Luckily, she didn't follow and I shared looks of Wafi. Even was that with other people who had seen her outburst. Luckily, my dog was unfazed. I gave her extra treats once we left the store. just to reward her for being such a good girl. Mom wants constant daily texts from me no matter how many boundaries I try to set. By user Rich37. I, 22, have been living out of the family house for 5 years. I am an only child. No matter what I say or do, my mom will not let up on her constant need to text me all day, every day. In addition to me not having the headspace available for constant small talk, it also clouds important dates or information she might be sending me because I have to mute her constant notifications. I have expressed so many times to my mom and dad that I am my own person with my own life, and these constant texts cause me a lot of anxiety. If I don't answer, I get a text like, please briefly acknowledge my texts, or did you see this? Or some other passive-aggressive or overly anxious text that requires my response. No matter how much I express my distress and anxiety due to this, my mom will not change her behavior in any way. I don't even want to text my friends every day or much at all, much less my parents. I'm not 16, I don't want to, and literally do not have the time to text every second of the day anymore. Cutting them off is not an option. Any advice? Edit. I already utilized Do Not Disturb for her conversations. It doesn't stop her from panicking and blowing me up or just guilt-tripping me if I don't answer for 3 days. Edit 2. My mom and I both have God, Oct, and panic disorder. Entitled Monsu's M for visitation. By user Battisbitch10102. So I went on it with my mom last October due to mental reasons. Read my post history to get you up to speed. I was served with papers in person yesterday morning. My mother is suing me for visitation with my daughter. So I looked into the laws in my state. Most of the time when parents sue for visitation, it doesn't go to court unless it's proven that it's detrimental to the child if they don't have a relationship with said grandparent, or if there's a severe situation, etc. My mom is doing this to spite me because she has no control and isn't getting her way. So the court date that's for visitation is in July. I will be fighting this tooth and nail. My fear is that if she gets visitation, she'll bring her husband around my kids. I will be bringing screenshots and all the proof I can. I don't want her near my family. Why can't they leave me alone? Also, I have no idea how she got my new address. We had moved because of her and her husband, and I didn't want them to know where we were.